curious fight going on in corporate America between the SEC and Netflix. The watchdog has indicated that they might file suit against, or at least they're ready to file suit against Netflix and its CEO for disclosure. Very strange goings on, Rob.
You think the SEC would have a lot more important things to do with their time. What they said is that on July 1st, Reed Hastings, the boss of Netflix, he came out and said, you know, great job, company. We've had over 1 billion hours of streaming video in the past month. The problem with that is Regulation FD. What Regulation FD is supposed to do, which is what they said they violated, is companies are supposed to prevent material information, important information, in a public manner. It's non-exclusionary. In other words, it's open to everyone.
So you got to make sure all investors kind of know all the important things that are going on at the company.
So this was a post on Facebook. Facebook, to see it, you have to be.
I mean, it's a walled garden, right?
It's a walled garden. You have to see it. You have to presumably be a friend of Reed Hastings. He has 200,000 friends, right?
Yes.
So that's already a huge audience, and you've got to
including a lot of the journalists that cover the company.
Right. So there's an interesting question about whether that's really a private, some private communication.
Yeah, and not only that, it's a question of is it material? Because you know, when you join Netflix, you don't pay per video. You pay for as much streaming video as you want. So if people are watching more video, who cares? And the other thing is, and it doesn't lead to revenue. The other point is that he said about several weeks earlier, he said, "Great, we're almost near.
We're almost at 1 billion. So great. So it's a question about how material this really is."
He said that in a completely public forum, which was on the company's website,
which is an unauthorized place to disclose information.
Right.
And then we also got this weird thing where it's sort of like, okay, CEOs make a lot of news on CNBC a lot of the time, and CNBC
often the ratings they can be half as much as the number.
So Reed Hastings has more Facebook followers at certain times than CNBC has watchers.
Exactly, and for the SEC to come out and say, you know, you've said something that's not very important to a lot of people more than you could see on CNBC, and that's illegal. I mean, that's a really strange precedent.
It is a. I mean, I do think this is a whole interesting question, the social media question, and these kinds of disclosures, right? I mean, the SEC is probably behind the game in figuring out how this all works, and this may be an attempt to begin to sort of test where these disclosures can and can't be made.
Right, whether it's Facebook, Twitter,
you would think you would start with one that is so obviously material that there can be no argument about that, but in this case there can be, and also one that is so obviously closed there can be no argument about that. But again, 200,000 people, is that closed? I mean, privacy laws, that's not. There's nothing private about 200,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, there are much more severe cases. You know, you read analyst notes and they've said, you know, we met with the CEO, and these are some things he told him. And often I'll read them and be like, I didn't know any of these things, you know?
So anyway, well, it's obviously opened up quite a Pandora's box here, but we will be back with more Breaking Views next week.